Good morning. Welcome to JoyNews Desk. We're coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle. We're on DTT because we're free to wear. Coming up this morning, residents of Sokpoe also depend on polluted flood water inundating the community from the spillage of the Akosombo Dam as Ghana Water cuts water supply to them. We are live in South Tone ahead of the Vice President's expected visit to affected areas. Meanwhile, Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana calls for the conversion of COVID-19 relief fund into a national emergency fund to help provide more relief for the flood victims. Plus, fresh calls to dissolve the National Cathedral Board of Trustees after two more members resigned, citing failure to conduct an audit into matters regarding the construction of the project. We have details as Duncan-Williams and Reverend Akufo-Addo reveal the attempts to meet the president failed. All of these coming up shortly. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Do stay for details. Residents of Sokpoe, one of the hardest hit communities by the flooding resulting from the Akosombo Dam spillage, say they are still relying on the heavily polluted lake water for domestic use. Assemblyman for Sokpoe electoral area Edmond Fingaro-Dika spoke to JoyNews' Carlos Coloni on the situation.
The water situation, your community people, are they still relying? Which water are they using?
Well, I'm Honorable Edmond Fingaro-Dika, the assembly member for Sokpoe electoral area. Within my community right now, it's about 2 weeks plus. The water has never flowed from the pipe. So everybody is now depending on the polluted water. But it was through the grace yesterday, it rained small, people were able to harvest some small water. NDC women organizer for the Volta region, constituency youth wings, standard pure water, and other benevolence, and then the MP, Honorable Mensa Oyuma, was able to donate water, sachet water for us, and that is what we are distributing today. As I speak, it's now that we are hearing of NADMO in our electoral area, and they are just coming. You can see them behind me, and that is what is going on. We don't know what they are coming to tell us now, but I just want to assure that 90% of the people in Sokpoe right now are depending on this water, which is not good for our health.
If you say they are depending on it, what are they using this water for?
That is what they use for cooking, bathing. We don't have any source of water. We don't have any source. This is the only source of water we have.
Are residents even aware the water is polluted?
They are aware. They are aware and they know, but they don't have any choice. That is the only thing you can do. People are just trying hard not to drink it.
Do you people in Sokpoe, do you feel neglected in this flood situation?
That is how we are seeing ourselves. We are totally neglected. We were informed that the president was coming to us. We prepared waiting for him for more than 6 hours just to be called back and told us that he cannot come to us or he's going to Mepe. So we thought maybe Mepe people are more important than us. That is what we will also take it. Because right now we are all dying. And if you can go to some people and leave others, we will also be thinking that maybe we are not important. And it's today that we got information that the vice president is coming. We don't know whether he will also come and then tell us, later they will tell us that he will not come again. Until he's here, we don't know. But NADMO is here today.
What do you want the authorities to do about this with regards to the water situation in Sokpoe?
With the drinking water, we are pleading with them. They can fall on fire service and others. We have adjoining communities. We are not affected with this. They can get the pipe-borne water from there and then bring it to us so that we can use that one for bathing and others. And then cooking. At least for now. Since we don't even have food and others to eat, what we are drinking and what we are using to cook, our farm product that are spoiled, that we are using them in the house for now, they should give us a potable water to just save the situation for now.
Please, your name?
I'm Edmond Fingaro-Dika, the assembly member.
Queen Mother of the Sokpoe traditional area, Mamagan Ajesu II, also expressed concerns over the water situation.
Whatever they are supposed to use it for. And here lies the case, as we're talking now, the water is highly polluted. They have to come to our aid. We went for a meeting on Sunday, and then the MP suggested we use the Akosombo dam. That one, they will be able to sterilize it. He mentioned some chemicals that is supposed to be bought by the VRA so that they will be able to be opening the tap like intermediately. But as I'm speaking now, the tap is still not flowing, and for weeks now we don't have flowing water. We need to drink, we need to bath, we need to wash, we need to cook. What water are we going to use for all those kind of activities? It is a hindrance to us. So what we are saying is we would want anybody that can help to come to our aid, so that the water problem will be solved. If at least the water problem is solved, then we will say that at least half of the problem is solved. If not for accommodation, but water. If somebody can get a place to lay his head and get water to drink, the person is comfortable. But if the person can just get a place to lay the head and will not get water, are we not killing them?
So which water are you relying on?
We rely on the same water that is polluted, that is the river water, and that is the only source of water that we have here. We don't have any water aside that. No tap. Tap is not flowing for weeks now. I came into the tap about a week now. Tap is not flowing. So those that are staying when they started spilling have not been using water since. So the tap is actually not flowing. We thank God that we haven't had any casualty of death. But what I know is there are snakes and then other kind of this thing in the water. Some even when they touch your skin, the worms and then it wouldn't have effect now. Maybe after some time before they will see the effect. If they will be able.
We can now go live to Carlos Coloni, who is in Sokpoe for the latest. Carlos, how bad is the situation?
All right, Aisha, it's a very serious situation here at Sokpoe in the South Tongue district of the Volta region, where, if you speak to, say, 10 people, about 8 of them, I will tell you, they've not used any other water apart from the one from this lake that you see behind me. And this is the water they use for their domestic chores. I mean, they use it to cook, they use it to bath, they use it to wash the items. And according to them, for 2 weeks now, they've not had any water flowing through the pipes. And they've also not had any water from NADMO, neither have they had any water from the district assembly. And so children, mothers, nursing mothers, anybody who lives in this Sokpoe township actually depends on this water, which is heavily polluted. As you can see, the water is flowing right beneath the lower Volta bridge with a lot of speed. And you can see particles in the water, a lot of things. You can even see on the surface stains that look like fecal matter on the surface of the water. And so we've been speaking to the DCE for South Tongue in the person of Seth Adi, who has been denying the claims being made by the residents of Sokpoe. But I have with me here a gentleman who actually is close to, this lake. He sells close to the bridge here. And he's been here to tell us if indeed, residents depend on this water or not. You are live on TV. Give us your name.
Yeah, my name is Akufo-Addo.
Oh, you are Agbi, and this is also Agbi. I believe that's your uncle. But your uncle is denying actually that people depend on this water. You live here. What do you see?
This is the only source of water that people use. So since the thing happened, about 2 weeks now, this is the only water that the people are using. Apart from this water, there's no water any place that you can get. So what the DC says that they are not using this water, I'm not sure, because early morning, if we are about to bath, do anything, this is the only water that you can fetch, because there's no source of water again. In the morning, children, mothers, and other people, this is the only water that they fetch. They bath, they use it to wash, sometimes they use it to cook. sometimes some of the people use to drink this water.
They drink this water raw.
Yeah, it's not everybody who can purchase pure water, or it's not everybody who can get access to pipe water. Yeah, so sometimes people drink.
So how long has this problem persisted? I mean, since the dam spillage, or just days now?
Yeah, it's let's say about 2 weeks now. Still, people are using this water. There's no source of water that the people will use. Yes.
So what is the concern of residents, yourself, looking at the level of the water and the fact that it's heavily polluted? How are you concerned about the situation?
We are very, very fascinated. We need the NGOs, the government to support us with water, because this water is not good for our health, because a lot of things have entered into the water. So we'll be pleading with the government to help us with clean water. Even the NADMO, up to now, we never heard anything from them. So if they are telling you people that they have provided water for the community, I'm not sure. Yes, I'm not sure.
Okay, you are a business person. You sell fresh fish here, and I believe that this situation maybe might have impacted in a way. So share your story with us, how this situation has affected you as a business person.
It has heavily affected us, because purchasing have gone down. A lot of people are not, because people thought the water had covered the bridge. So how customers will come around and come and buy? They are finding it very difficult to come around to come and buy. So the business is problem.
So people don't come to buy your fresh fish anymore.
Yeah, that's happened like how fresh.
Okay, so Aisha, we are right in front of the Bolton-Nova Bridge, and if you can see in your picture, this is where people buy fresh tilapia from the lake. And according to the gentleman we spoke to earlier, he tells us that the situation has really affected their business. I have with me one woman who deals in fresh tilapia to also share her story with us. Now, tell us, how has this affected your tilapia business so far?
Yeah, it affects our business because they said the water is contaminated. So if they buy the fish, they will also get disease or this. So they don't want to come here and buy from us. So we are begging.
Who says the fish will be is polluted, and so it will have some impact on their health?
Yeah, they said the water is polluted, so it affects the fish in the river also. So they said they cannot come and buy contaminated fish.
So sales have gone down. So tell us before, say in the morning before around this time, how the volume of your sales before and now. We just want to understand how deep it has fallen.
Well, it has fallen drastically because this morning I have not make a single sale. I'm still here waiting, but they are not coming because of the situation at hand. So they are not coming.
All right. So that's your name again?
Yes. Akofa.
Akofa is one of the people who actually deal in fresh fish.
Carlos, what can you tell us about the provision of relief items to affected persons there?
It's actually affecting their business. And so I have with me here some other people who also speak to us about how this situation has affected them. You are live on TV. Tell us, so you also sell fish here? Okay, we are told that this situation is affecting your business. How serious?
How affected? No, it is where the rumors about people saying that rather have taken traveling. Every day we have to receive calls to verify what they are saying. So it's affecting our business. Some people they think where the rumors that fish farms and other like some private sellers have booked, they are not buying what they think
Carlos, can you tell us about the relief items that has been given to affected persons there? Right, so we'll try and get Carlos again to tell us about that. We also understand the Vice President will be there. He will be asking him more. He will be giving us a lot of details on the Vice President's visits to the area. And whilst we wait to get him back, right, so the DCE of the area has also been speaking. We can listen to him now.
In terms of numbers, who are relying on this water for the... Say hi, let me see.
Hi.
Good. How do you react to these concerns being expressed by residents of Sokpoe that for 2 weeks they've had to depend on the polluted water lake?
This is a surprise to everybody. You're not prepared before this happened. So we started organizing ourselves till the VRA. We formed the VRA in Admo. They've come to our age. So today we are starting giving the water. Already, we've Togbega, Kajisoga. This is the paramount of Sokpoe. They have given us about 500 water from some of the companies. So they are start sharing it. Now that the VRA and the NADO booking, so we'll start sharing today. In order to deliberately deny them or give them water. Yes, we are sorry about that. But we continue doing our best.
But the health concern that they've had to depend on this water for 2 weeks.
No, they are not depending on water. We advise that we came here. We advise not to rely on the water because the water is polluted. Nobody can drink that water. No, at all.
But they are drinking.
No. We give them that education. Nobody can take that water. Yes. We don't mind. They are buying the pure water from the distributors. So, after taking this water, no.
Okay, so we have spoken to residents. We've spoken to the traditional authorities who have confirmed to us that residents are depending on this water. Why haven't the assembly actually provided, say, water tanker to distribute water to residents?
We are fortunate to have a water company here. Because of electricity, our substation is shut down, so they are not pumping water. You get it? They are not pumping water, so we cannot do anything to engage the water tankers to send them because there's nowhere we can get water to supply to them. Yes, if you want to do that, you have to fetch this river, the lake. But yes, we can't do that. Those who have a small pure water disposal, that's what we ask them to give to them.
So how do you intend curbing this situation? I'm told over 90% of residents in Sokpoe, they depend on this water. Now it has come to your attention. What are you going to do to ensure that from today, they don't go back to the same lake to drink from it and cook?
They're not drinking from the water. That everybody does. No, it's taking risk. It's taking life risk. We advise not to do it. So I don't expect anybody to go in and take that water to drink. No.
So what is the assembly going to do to solve that concern?
Now we have about 1,000 sachet water there, so we'll start giving to them. I told you already that the chiefs have organized the people. We asked for people to come in, so benevolent people can. That's what we do. So if you go to Sokpoe's house right now, we have plenty of water there. It's good to them.
1,000 bags of sachet water.
Yeah.
Would that be enough for all residents?
No. They will bring more. As I you have 1,000 for them.
Well, the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana has also called for the conversion of the COVID-19 Relief Fund into a national emergency fund to help provide more relief for the flood victims.
We are saying that COVID-19 is with us, but it's no longer an emergency. But we have an emergency now at hand. And we think that we should think beyond COVID-19 and look at all disasters. And so it is time that we convert that fund at hand to be a national emergency relief and public health emergency fund so that we can look forward and be prepared ahead of time. We don't have to wait for something to happen and we start running around.
Well, the Volta Regional Minister, Dr. Archibald Yao Lecha, has indicated that the Interministerial Committee coordinating government response on the flooding situation, will consider all recommendations, including the call for the declaration of a state of emergency. The Ghana Health Service has already declared a public health emergency crisis in anticipation for a possible disease outbreak. Reiterating the call on JoyNews, Member of Parliament for North Tongue Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa said the declaration will allow for international partners to come to the country's aid.
The declaration of a state of emergency will really help. I can confirm to you, Evans, that there are a number of international partners of ours who are waiting for this declaration, and they will move in with a lot of support. If government does not declare that state of emergency, matters are not, taken as serious as they should. And really, if you come to the ground, this is a humanitarian crisis.
Responding to the calls, Volta Regional Minister Dr. Lecha says the Interministerial Committee will take a decision on the matter.
Well, we would obviously consider every suggestion that is coming on board. We'll convene a Regional Public Health Emergency Committee meeting, and then the Regional Security Council meeting, and we make the appropriate recommendations as we deem fit to His Excellency the President.
Away from the floods in the Volta region, there are fresh calls for President Akufo-Addo to immediately dissolve the National Cathedral Board of Trustees and order a wider forensic audit into the botched construction. These calls follow the resignation of founder of Action Chapel Churches, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan-Williams, and President of Eastwood Anaba Ministries, Reverend Eastwood Anaba, from the National Cathedral Board of Trustees. They cited failure on the part of the Cathedral's board to appoint an independent accounting firm to audit all public funds contributed to the National Cathedral project. My colleague Kweku Asante joins me via Zoom with details. Kweku, before we talk about the call to dissolve the board, what is contained in the resignation letter of these two men of God? Kweku, kindly unmute for me.
Aisha, this letter from Archbishop Nicholas Duncan-Williams and Reverend Eastwood Anaba points to two things. First, these two men of God say that they tried several attempts to meet the president and to share their concerns, but they could not do so. And let me read specifically what the letter says. It says that you may recall a request for an appointment with you to specifically discuss the National Cathedral of Ghana, a vision of yours that we share and cherish. We truly understand that the demands of the nation and indeed the world have been placed upon your shoulders may have prevented the realization of this meeting. So this meeting that was requested by these two men of God to discuss their concerns with the president did not come up. And because of this, they've put together this letter resigning, and they have specific concerns. They say that they had requested for an audit into some funds that have been paid into the National Cathedral Fund and a number of issues that have happened around the cathedral. We know that Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa in particular had been leading a crusade and had been making claims that there were some irregularities around the construction, and he thought that that forensic audit would be necessary. These two men of God joined the cause and made a similar demand. They say that to the best of their knowledge, they have not seen the findings of the audit. They cannot also confirm if that audit has taken place, and they've been waiting for this report since January of this year, and 10 months down the line, they've not gotten this, and because of this, they have decided that it is better for them to step aside from their roles on the National Cathedral Trustees Board. Not that they do not believe in the vision of the president to erect this National Cathedral, but they believe that a number of these issues have made their continuous stay on the board untenable.
How many people have so far resigned from the board, and which people are currently still on?
Aisha, so these two men of God resigning mean that they joined the founder of the International Central Gospel Church, ICGC, Pastor Mensa Otabil, who was the first to leave the board of trustees. Then the founder of Lighthouse Chapel, Lighthouse Churches, Reverend Bishop Duncan Mills, also resigned. So these two men of God have joined Pastor Mensa Otabil and Duncan Mills, who had already resigned from the board, bringing to the total four members who have resigned. But still, there are still a number of men of God and other people of means who are still on this board. Apostle Professor Popo Nina, who is former chairman of the Church of Pentecost, is still on the board. Archbishop Charles Palmer-Bakel is still on. Most Reverend Bishop Justice Ofea Kofi is still on. Right Reverend Professor Emmanuel Mate, the former moderator of the Presbyterian Church, is still on. We also have one other, Most Reverend T.K. Awashi Pratt, who is still on. Reverend Dr. Joyce Ayi, Executive Director of the Salt and Light Ministry, is still on. And then Reverend Victor Kusiboate, the founder of the Power Chapel Worldwide, is still a member. Reverend Dr. Frimpong Manso, a former General Superintendent of the Assemblies of God, is still on. And then finally, Kingsley Ofosu Ntiamoa, who's the Executive Director of the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board, are still. These are the persons who are still on the National Cathedral Board of Trustees.
So what's the current state of the construction, Kweku?
We know that over the last few months, running into years now, no work has been done on the side of the National Cathedral because the state has run out of money. The Cathedral Secretariat have also run out of money. The expectations that a number of donations will come in have not come in since that started. And because of that, construction have halted. In fact, a few months ago, we saw a notice from the contractors who are undertaking this construction, instructing that the employees are relieved of their duties with the exception of a few security men who are still on site to protect the facility. So as of now, for so many months now, there's not been construction work at the site, although there were some excavations at the site to make way for the foundation to be laid. That has not been done because of the lack of funds. And we know that as of now, more than 200 million Ghana cedis have been sunk into the project, but the project is yet to actually take off in terms of the real building on the site.
Tell us about the calls to dissolve the Board of Trustees and to halt the construction.
First, that has come from Samuel Okudzeto Blakwa, who says that this is time for deeper introspection about this whole National Cathedral project and the concerns that Ghanaians have shared about that project. Some Ghanaians, I must say. And that although there are people like the president who believe that this project must go ahead, it is clear that for so many years now, the project has not been able to make any substantial progress. And they, in the minority, are demanding a forensic audit. In fact, before Parliament went on break, they actually approved a resolution to investigate the National Cathedral Board. It was just a committee that was not set up. It is an expectation that when Parliament resumes, that committee will be put in place to investigate the construction of that National Cathedral. We've also heard from Adam Senano, who says that if you look at the very prominent men of God who are on this Board of Trustees, it makes it a bit difficult for the president to dissolve it, because if you dissolve it, then going forward, how do you get to work with them? And so he says that the president would have to navigate this quite carefully, but he insists, like many people, that because of the controversy the National Cathedral has been embroiled in since it was announced and since construction began, it is clear that there is some deeper introspection that must be done, and the funding model must be relooked at so that if it's a Christian community and other well-meaning Ghanaians who want to support the project, they can do so and support the construction of the project so that the state can wash its hands of the project.
Kweku Asante is with the legal desk. He brought us those details. Let's get on to other stories. The Electoral Commission is seeking the advice of the Attorney General to prosecute persons who guaranteed for more than 10 persons during the just-ended limited voter registration exercise. According to the laws governing the registration exercise, it is an offense to serve as a guarantor for more than 10 voters. According to Deputy EC Commissioner Samuel Tete, the Commission will in the coming days publish the names of all persons who breached this regulation and liaise with the Attorney General to put them before court.
The Commission wishes to inform the general public that guarantors who breached the law and perpetrated the act of guaranteeing for more than 10 applicants will not go unpunished. Their names will be published in the national dailies and they will be brought to prosecution. It is in the interest of the Commission to register every eligible applicant or citizen. However, the Commission will not sit aloof to let go offenders who flout its laws. In our previous press briefings, we projected videos and photos of minors in queue registering.
The Electoral Commission explained there was an abuse of the guarantor system during the registration exercise, a situation it warns could put the country's democracy in jeopardy. According to the EC, more than 50% of the persons who registered during the exercise used the guarantor system, which the EC says has outlived its usefulness. Samuel Tete again.
On the guarantor system, the Commission is of the view that under our current circumstances, the guarantor system has outlived its usefulness and cannot be maintained. The best proof of a person's citizenship in Ghana is the Ghana card. The use of the guarantor system is fraught with blatant abuse as witnessed in the just ended voters registration exercise. Most countries in the sub-region, to mention but a few, example Nigeria, South Africa, Senegal, Rwanda, and Kenya, do not use the guarantor system as evidence of identification as a citizen. If indeed we are committed to strengthening our electoral process, then the guarantor system must be abolished sooner than later. We call on the government again to fund NIE. Additionally, we entreat Parliament to approve or pass the CI on the registration of voters. The Commission upholds the encouragement of minors to register. This is a crime. It does not augur well for us as a nation, and we urge all citizens and stakeholders to join the Commission to solve this long-age canker. The sad fact is that these minors were bussed to registration centers by citizens who should know better. This is unpardonable, and we once again call on the government to resource NIA to produce the cards and Parliament to approve the CI to enable us use the Ghana card as sole means to identify a person's citizenship.
Notwithstanding, the Electoral Commission says it is extremely satisfied with the conduct of the exercise, which registered 910,996 voters.
The 21-day registration exercise, which started on Tuesday, 12 September 2023, ended on Monday, 2nd October 2023. The Commission is very much satisfied with the successful completion and outcome of the exercise. The following measures, among other things, largely accounted for the success of the registration exercise. The registration exercise was undertaken by a well-trained and committed EC permanent staff with a few temporary staff. Again, adequate provision of registration materials, hence no report of shortages of registration materials. We have improved network system, increase in the number of biometric verification kits. In some cases, some registration centers have between 4 and 5 BVR kits. In addition, was the presence of security at the registration centers, as well as the presence of observers and party agents at registration centers. The Commission projected to register 700,000 out of registrable eligible voters of 1,350,000 per the 2021 census figures.
We're still live on Joy News. A desk will return with more. Welcome back to JoyNews Desk. To the rest of our stories, the Sokpoe Road in the Ashanti region has become a death trap, recording major and minor accidents daily. Road users and residents are becoming increasingly agitated over the deteriorating state of the road, despite assurances from local authorities to get it fixed. There is more in this report.
The Sokpoe Ampayo stretch of the main threaded Aban Road is less than 1 kilometer, but motorists spend 30 to 45 minutes to ply due to the deplorable state. There is an outcry by residents and motorists over the neglect, leading to loss of lives and injuries to accidents. At least 5 lives have been lost in the past 6 months. A concerned motorist, Sam Ahenkra, shared an experience with FM.
I use that route every morning and evening. So coming back onto the road, just around the place, I saw this woman hawking plantain chips. You know, David, not through no fault of theirs, also trying to leave the road and almost run, if another car almost ran into her. So I was my car quietly and I said, Jesus Christ, it was yet to be a vetted situation we are now. You see, we have created a haven for people to also become commercial, use this as a commercial place. But that is not the situation. David, the third thing that drove me again is this, which I didn't want to add, but let me bring it in. Emotional as it may, but please, viewers and listeners should bear with me. I picked my daughter from school and we're going home. Just around Sokpoe, when we entered the road, there was this woman who wanted to come ahead of me. You know, just when you're entering Sokpoe, the road becomes about 4 lanes. It becomes about 4 lanes. Yeah. So just when we were entering, I realized that no, this woman wanted to enter the road. A woman, a pregnant woman. And she was trying to veer her way into, so I stopped to let her have access. She was in the car with 2 other kids, apparently has picked her children from school. And then just when you enter, there's a ditch, a train that has been dug there by the contractor and left uncovered. And then she ran the car straight into a head-on, because she was straight. The ditch is in the middle of the road. It's in the middle of the road. Just when you move onto it from that dual carriage into the road, you'll find it.
The road contractor has halted work over non-payment of funds. This has worsened the deterioration.
It's pathetic, David. Nobody, you see, I've said this earlier on that I've spoken with the engineers on the site, and all they are saying is that they've done series of works and they haven't been paid. Now, it is less than 1 kilometer stretch of road in such terrible state, claiming lives and property on a daily basis. You heard somebody say at least 5 in a week. So I wasn't far from right. Once every day, at least I say something. Either hating David. All that they needed to do, and we are asking is this: can't they just think outside the box and bring whatever those things they use to clean doing the galamsey on excavator, a grader to just come and level the place and make it a bit more trouble for commuters and residents of the area.
Sokpoe is an industrial enclave, and the road links to several communities in the region. The Urban Roads Department says the stretch will be fixed by the end of the year. For JoyNews, Nana Duncan-Williams, Kumasi.
Several cancer patients at the Akufo-Addo Teaching Hospital are compelled to delay or avoid early treatment of cancer and associated illnesses due to the exorbitant cost of treatment. According to experts, late diagnosis and therapy slows access to care for patients. Clinton Yeboah has more in this report.
Cancer and its related ailments are complex medical conditions that usually require surgeries, radiation therapy, and chemotherapy. These procedures are carried out conjointly with anesthetics, which plays a central role. At the Oncology Directorate of Akufo-Addo Teaching Hospital, a high number of patients and their family members are compelled to choose between giving up on their lives and breaking their bank accounts.
We receive good treatment, but our problem is the cost of treatment. Medications cost between 1,000 Ghana cedis and 3,000 Ghana cedis.
This is my child. The expenses I have endured is serious. We are pleading to policymakers. anesthesiologist at the hospital, Dr. Sophia Ankra, indicates the exorbitant cost of cancer treatment compels underprivileged patients to discontinue treatment. She is calling for subsidies for cancer treatments to widen accessibility to comprehensive health care.
The cost of cancer treatment is very expensive. I think there are chemotherapy, radiotherapy, all that is very expensive. So if there could be some form of incorporating it into our health insurance to subsidize the prices, I think it will go a long way. Because most of them report early, but then because of the lack of funds to start treatment or to continue, some start but they are unable to continue, the disease progresses and then end up with them at the end stage where nothing else can be done for them. So I think the cost is the main thing that the policy makers should look at.
Anesthesia plays a crucial role in surgeries, complicated medical procedures, and pain management. In commemoration of World Anesthesia Day 2023, themed Anesthesia and Cancer Care, the Ghana Anesthetics Society checked up on patients to encourage and inspire them to endure their medical journey. Dr. Sophia Ankra highlighted the importance of anesthetics to medical procedures.
We help with managing the chronic pain associated with cancer patients, and then we also give sedation or anesthesia when they have to undergo certain procedures like bone marrow aspirates for the kids with leukemia and other cancers, and if they have to do certain procedures like radiation therapy, like the fluoroscopy and brachytherapy, we need to give them sedation for that. So anesthesia plays a vital role in management of cancer patients. The numbers of doctors practicing anesthesia is increasing. So it's giving us the opportunity to spread our services to all these other specialties that really need our help.
Reporting for JoyNews, Clinton.
Senior political science lecturer at the University of Ghana, Professor Ransford Jampo, says ensuring that applied research and its outcomes sharpen the conduct of policy formulation and implementation will continue to suffer setbacks. He explained that as long as citizens are unable to force or compel the government to respect the directive principle of state policy as enshrined in the 1992 Constitution, by continuing with ongoing projects, realizing that objective will be difficult. Speaking at the 3rd annual research conference of the Simon Diendong Dombo University of Business and Development Studies, Professor Jampo noted the habit of discontinuing projects after change in government does not augur well for the development of the country.
The 2023 Research and Development Conference of the Simon Diendong Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies (SDDU-BITS) was held on the theme Bridging the Gap Between Applied Research, Policy Formulation and Implementation. The conference is the 3rd of the university since its attaining autonomous status in 2019 and attended by over 90 participants from different universities and institutions across the country. Senior political science lecturer at the University of Ghana, Professor Ransford Jampo, expressed worry over the plethora of policies that have been formulated by ruling governments but thrown away immediately there is a change of government. Professor Jampo warned that the idea of having applied research and its outcomes shaping the conduct of policy formulation and implementation will continue to suffer as long as citizens are unable to force or compel government to respect the directive principle of state policy as enshrined in the 1992 Constitution.
The first time we had a long-term national vision for Ghana was Vision 2020 in 1996. It was prepared by power changers, it was thrown away. I am saying that the idea of having applied research and its outcomes shaping the conduct of policy, formulation and implementation will continue to suffer so long as we are unable to force or compel government to respect the provisions in the directive principles of state policy, chapter 6 of the 1992 Constitution, that enjoins government to, as much as possible, continue with projects, programs that may have been initiated by predecessor government.
Let's take a break on JoyNews Desk. We'll be back with more.
Welcome. Time to do business with me, Emma Davis. President Akufo-Addo has charged financial institutions to increase credit facility to the agriculture sector. Speaking at the presidential breakfast meeting on agriculture and agribusiness, he expressed concern about the poor credit culture to small businesses, especially those in the agri sector. According to him, the average of 3% financial support to agribusinesses is woefully inadequate and must be increased. Access to financing is vital for the growth of the agriculture sector in Ghana, mainly for working capital such as acquiring inputs, hiring labor, as well as for fixed capital acquisitions such as machinery. The absence of financing limits the average acreage of cultivated farmlands and thereby impedes agricultural growth, with consequences for the economy as a whole. President Akufo-Addo, in an engagement with players in the financial sector, tasked financial institutions to increase agricultural financing to grow the country's GDP.
But together, we have to make an effort to break out of the structures of our economy that we've inherited up to today. Because if we don't, we will be still continuing to scrabble around at levels of growth that are really not a reflection of the potential of our people and of ourselves. The relative apportionment, 34-35% credit goes to the service sector, 11% to manufacturing, 3% to agriculture. These figures don't make sense for an economy that wants to grow, that the real sectors of the economy, the sectors that have the capacity for dynamic growth, not just of the economy, but also in the creation of jobs, are the ones that receive the most amount of money from you.
Meanwhile, Deputy Minister for Finance, Abna Osei-Asare, outlined some initiatives the Ministry of Finance is undertaking to ensure increased support to agribusinesses.
The growth strategy which government is currently financing is targeting to improve access to long-term financing for capital investment by private sector. We use the private sector to leverage on the strength of the financial ecosystem built around the Development Bank Ghana, GERSEL, Ghana Exim Bank, Venture Capital, and the Ghana Commodity Exchange. We have worked with our international partners and the Bank of Ghana to set up the Development Bank Ghana to increase availability of wholesale long-term funding. This is to enable our banks offer long-term retail loans without creating maturity mismatches. And that is very, very important. And that is the reason why our bankers are talking about patient financing.
Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Brian Echampon, stated that the Planting for Food and Jobs Phase 2 will make Ghana food secure and resilient by 2028.
The Planting for Food and Jobs Phase 2 is a clear strategic objective, and interventions for agriculture that will deliver food security and resilience within 5 years. We can boldly say and boast that in 5 years we shall be food secure and resilient. Indeed, some of the annoying and embarrassing narratives, like importing onions and tomatoes from our Sahelian neighbors, will be reversed sooner than the prescribed 5 years.
The Executive Secretary of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, Dr. Ishmael Aka, has charged members of the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NEDCO, to improve its customer service engagements as a means of meeting the needs of customers, particularly during power outages. Dr. Ishmael Aka, who was speaking to JoyNews at Tichiman after a meeting with NEDCO, says the move forms part of the Commission's quest towards enhancing the relationship between utility companies and consumers. Anastabet has more.
Speaking exclusively to JoyNews on the sidelines of a meeting held between national and regional leadership of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission and the Techiman area of the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, Executive Secretary of the PURC, Dr. Ishmael Aka, said the move forms part of the Commission's quest towards enhancing education and engagement amongst utility companies and consumers.
This year, PURC is focusing on maintenance, education, engagement, and enforcement. As part of the education and engagement, we are going around meeting utilities. First of all, to look at what they are doing within their catchment area, and also to listen to some of their achievements and the challenges they are facing, and also look at areas we can collaborate to serve the customers better. So today we came to NEDCO Techiman area. So it is more of a collaborative work. It's a friendly visit to engage them and to see how best people in Techiman and in this area can get electricity, reliable and affordable electricity.
Dr. Ishmael Aka, however, admonished NEDCO to work towards improving its customer engagement, particularly during power outages, to enable them meet the needs of their customers.
For us, three things. One is that they should constantly communicate with customers. They should engage them. So there are instances, for some reasons, the light may go off. People should know early so that they can plan. There are certain customers who may have some backlog in terms of bills. I mean, if you have a payment plan, let them know, engage them before they even come and see you. So I think that is a very important one. Another area we want them to focus on is to also have some satellite offices, especially some towns outside Techiman, so that customers do not walk long distance to get to some of their offices to report their issues and others.
Techiman area manager for NEDCO, John Tyree, on his part lauded the move by the PURC and was quick to raise concerns on difficulties NEDCO go through in reaching some of its distribution areas, particularly during revenue mobilization.
We have made them aware of some of our challenges. Operation-wise, we are not doing badly at all. But naturally, there are some hitches that are beyond our control. We mentioned some communities where at this time of the year it is difficult to reach. So even when there are faults or complaints from those areas, you naturally cannot just go there. We mentioned places like Kejeji, where it is 56 kilometers away from our service center in Kwame Danso. And revenue mobilization, even to go there at this time to mobilize revenue, is a problem.
In relation to the recent hike in electricity tariffs, Mr. John Tyree urged consumers to be conscious of the situation and work towards minimizing their energy consumption.
What is in your house is what consumes the power. So if you can afford the cost of such equipment or gadgets that are consuming electricity, then it is just fair that you should be able to pay. So that is why we are preaching that consumers should be conscious of the cost of electricity. Money have uses. So if you are not using it for electricity, you use it for something else. If you conserve power, it is good for your life. You have, spare money for discretionary spending.
Reporting for JoyNews, Anas Sabit, Techiman.
That's all for business. My name is Emma Davis. For more business news, do log on to myjoyonline.com/business.
Thanks so much, Emma Davis, for bringing us business. That'll be it for the bulletin this morning. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the news and updates of all the developing stories. See you again at 12.